Broadcasting from Manhattan Beach and the World Wide Web, you're listening to CHSR, HealthyLife.net.
As a service to our listeners, this program is for general information and entertainment purposes only. CHSR, HealthyLife.net does not recommend, endorse, or object to the views, products, or topics expressed or discussed by show hosts or their guests. We suggest you always consult with your own personal, medical, financial, or legal advisor.
The Shark is back. Are you ready for Pep Talk? I'm Sharky Zartman, and boy, do I have a couple of ladies today who are going to knock your socks off. First up is Laurie Gardner, also known as the Get Real Guru, who's going to show us how to stop living small. She's a Harvard graduate, author, multilingual speaker, she speaks 5 languages, and a master practitioner in body, mind, and spirit wellness. But first up, we have Laurie Gardner, a busy lady whose passion it is to be an inspirational catalyst to help others to stop living small. She believes that everyone deserves to have a fun, meaningful life at whatever age they choose to start. She is the author of The Road to Shine and is also kicking off a new seminar series, Courageous You. Welcome, Laurie, to Pep Talk.
Thanks, Sharky.
I'm so excited. I was reading all your information, and you do so many things that it's just amazing. I don't know how you have time to do them all. And so, really. So first question, why are you the Get Real Guru?
Why am I the Get Real Guru? Well, it's funny, I originally am from New Jersey, but I've been living in Berkeley, California for a long time. And so the Get Real part is definitely the East Coast side.
Okay.
Very direct, tell it like it is. I mean, there's not a lot of time anyway in this life. Why dance around? Why play games? And then the Guru is really my West Coast, more personal growth, spiritual side, and the two of them together really make up the type of teacher that I am.
All right. I get it. I love that. Now, you also have over 20 years of experience as a multilingual public speaker. Now, I know you speak 5 languages. What languages do you speak fluently?
English, obviously.
Yeah.
But also, it really depends on where I am in the situation. But currently, right now, living in California, Spanish is absolutely my most comfortable language because there are so many Spanish speakers here, as in the rest of the U.S. Also quite comfortable in French, Italian, and my German, after a glass of wine gets quite good again. But that one, I would say I'm definitely conversational, but not as fluent as when I was a kid.
So you do workshops then. You've done workshops all over the world in these 5 different languages. Is that correct?
That's right. And, it's funny. Sometimes when I'm doing a workshop that's not in my language, for example, I taught school reform to folks who wanted to start schools in the country of Qatar. I can't even say it correctly, Qatar, it's sort of this guttural the way they say it. And I had a translator then because obviously I didn't speak the Qatari language. And one of the fascinating things there was not only the language barrier, but certain concepts don't even exist. So I made a reference to a hands-on science project where a bunch of children went to a local pond and took samples. And the translator just looked at me and, what's a pond? This is a country that's in the middle of the Fertile Crescent in the desert. They don't have any freshwater ponds.
Oh.
So they literally had no idea what the translator, what I was talking about.
That is very interesting. Wow.
It was an eye-opener.
Yeah. Now, you've also traveled over 50 countries before the age of 33. That's amazing. Now, do you have one special adventure that where you learned something that you share with other people in your practice?
Wow, Shark, I'm a Sagittarius. We love to travel. So absolutely had so many adventures, and I write about a lot of those travel stories in my book, The Road to Shine. Wow, people would ask me that, like, oh, what was your favorite country? What was your favorite experience? for me, I think from the learning standpoint, right after college, I turned down 3 job offers, grabbed a backpack, and decided I was going to travel around the world by myself for a year and a half.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my New Jersey parents were devastated. You know, like, oh my God, we just sent you to Harvard and these job offers, and you want to do what? And you don't want to just do the usual go to Europe thing. You want to go to India and these dangerous places, and they're freaking out a little bit.
And you did this by yourself?
Oh yeah, by myself.
Wow.
So there were just so many adventures, but I think the real learning lesson for me that entire time frame was just being in the mindset of the world is my oyster. I can go anywhere. I can do anything. And I only had an airline ticket from a summer job and about $1,000 in my pocket. So it wasn't like I had this huge travel fund, but I worked on sheep farms and I picked fruit and I lived with families and was okay sleeping, on the beach and youth hostels. And so I think the real learning lesson for me was just keeping that attitude of anything is possible and I can do anything. And that's an attitude that I've only recently revisited as I'm in this new phase of my life. And as far as teaching and sharing it with those that I do speaking engagements with or that I coach or when I write my blogs, so many people forget that they really can do anything and that the world is their oyster. And really rekindling that spirit in them instead of I'm trapped in this job, I'm trapped in this relationship or whatever.
Wow. Now, I understand that you wrote your book, The Road to Shine, in 4 days? And so how on earth did you write a book in 4 days?
Well, I sort of feel like the book wrote me, truthfully. I was off in the desert fasting on a vision quest. And I didn't even know what a vision quest was when I signed up. I just knew I was in a sort of very stressed out place. I had a very busy job. I had a lot going on in my life, and I needed to take a time out. And so another friend of mine had gone off on a vision quest, and she said, you really need to just up Periscope, take a look at your life. This will put things in perspective. And I thought, well, what the heck? Okay. And I found a beautiful, beautiful location in the New Mexico desert near where Georgia O'Keeffe used to paint her skulls and her beautiful canyons that were orange and pink and yellow. And I went with a group initially the first time, and we prepared together as a group, but then we were off in the canyon by ourselves for 4 or 5 days. And it was during that time when I was off on solo, and all you get is plastic tarp, your sleeping bag, no food, just a lot of water, a journal if you like, and maybe a small musical instrument. And I set up my tarp, and I'm out there in this beautiful canyon, and I thought, oh my God, what am I going to do out here for 4 or 5 days? And I sat under a tree and opened up my journal and literally just started to write. And this book just came pouring out into my leather journal.
Wow. Now, is that a vision quest? Is this something that everyone, if they sign up for, they do it by themselves? Is that what they're all like, pretty much?
Well, they're all different. So a lot of different cultures do vision quests. Native Americans do them. Down in South America, they do them. Mine was completely, some of them use ayahuasca or drugs. Mine was completely drug-free, only water, no food. There are many different ways to do that. And there are actually guides. My guide was fantastic, Circles of Air and Stone. Sparrow Heart was my guide. There are groups you can find. And so initially I signed up to go on a vision quest with a group because I had never done anything like going off into the desert to fast for almost a week before. I since went back to that same location twice just by myself. So it is possible to do it by yourself. Or if you'd like a little more support, you can also do it with a group.
Okay, so if you didn't have anything to eat, did you not eat for 4 days, or did you have to find food?
Oh, no, you don't eat for 4 days. You're just drinking water.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Well, your passion, as you say in your media guide, is to help others to stop living small. So what exactly do you mean by living small?
Yeah, living small for me, there's a great, also Native American expression that says, it roughly translates to, if you have a size 10 foot but you're walking around in a size 6 shoe, eventually it's going to become so painful you can hardly walk.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, living small is there are just so many people who are settling for less in their lives. They're in jobs that they don't like or don't feel valued. They're staying in relationships that aren't fulfilling. They're living where they don't feel at home. Maybe they're maintaining their bodies and health in a less than healthy state. There are a lot of ways that we're just keeping ourselves in a way that I would say is really less than ideal and certainly less than living as fully as we can.
Okay. And so you have 3 clear steps to stop settling for less. What are they?
Yeah, so this is what came out in this book on this vision quest is this progressive way of how we can stop living small. And the first one is, first of all, you have to discover how and why are you holding yourself back. And there are so many different ways that we do this. For example, we might be replicating family patterns, which are thoughts and behaviors that we learned from our mother or our father or whoever primarily raised us. So, for example, let's say one of the things you really want in your life is a true love relationship. And you just can't figure out, like, I'm on the dating sites and I'm putting myself out there, what's happening? And as you dig a little deeper into these family patterns, you realize, oh, my God, I'm just like my mother. She's not very good at letting in love. She's always giving. So there might be family patterns that you need to clear out.
Okay.
Certainly we have fears, fear of success, fear of failure, fear of being judged. Oh, I couldn't possibly be a musician. I'll get laughed out of my family, or, I'll get laughed out of the office if I do this or I'm like that. And also we have our shadow side traits that will often need to be cleared out before we can really live fully. And a shadow side trait, those are the things that you would hate for somebody to call you. In your obituary, you do not want somebody to say, oh, I don't know, Laurie was selfish, arrogant, and stingy, or whatever those things that you would be most ashamed of being, but we have these qualities, and we have to make friends and see the gift in the shadow side qualities in order to have what we want in our lives. So, for example, let's say you feel that selfish is just a horrible, shameful way to be. Well, if you don't make friends with the fact that sometimes you really do need to put your needs first in order to achieve a goal, then that could be a block as well. So lots of good, meaty, juicy stuff in that first step of what's holding you back.
Okay. Sounds like it could be a lot.
Oh, my God. Oh, yeah. That's a big one. That step can take, a long time.
Okay. That's number 2.
The number 2 one is once you clear off all that gunk, you wipe the windshield clear, so to speak, well, then the question is, what's my purpose and passion? I really believe that everybody came here to contribute something, to do something meaningful, no matter how big or how small. And sometimes we know what that is, and we just have to kind of remember. But other people get to that point and say, well, I don't really know where to plug in or what lights my fire. And so there's a whole process and work to do there. And some of the key thoughts there are, it's important to know, where are you going to, not just what you're escaping from. Okay, so you hated being a lawyer, or it was too stressful, in that old job. You know what you're escaping from, but this step is all about becoming very clear, envisioning out what is your ideal life looking like in all of your different areas, relationships, work, health, etc.
Okay, a lot of times when I ask some of my students, what are you passionate about, what do you really want to do, some of them don't really know. They're so busy trying to survive.
Exactly. And some of the key questions when I work with folks around this is, I'll say something like, if you had all the money in the world, all the time in the world, and no responsibilities to anyone or anything, what would you do? And questions like this, when you sort of clear away the inhibitors, then they go, oh, well, if I had all the money in the world, I would be traveling around the world painting, or I would be helping children in Africa, and suddenly they become clearer and clearer. And then it's just a question of, okay, how can we achieve that given the framework that you're working within, whether it's your financial situation, your family responsibilities, etc. But you're absolutely right. A lot of the times people, that's what we were talking about before. You know, we lose the world is my oyster mentality because we start to define ourselves and our possibilities by the situation we're in.
Okay. So what's number 3?
And number 3, so you've cleared out the blocks that are holding you back. You've gotten a clear vision of your passion and your purpose and what you want to contribute. Well, the third step is finding the courage to actually do it.
Yeah. That's important.
Absolutely. And I used to be an Outward Bound instructor. And it's so funny because I don't know if you've ever rappelled or seen any video clips of people rappelling, but essentially you take a step backward off of a rock face and then you gently make your way down the rock face. Well, truthfully, you take a step off, you're going to be in the air maybe for 30 seconds, maybe not even that long before your foot just gently hits the rock below you. But that first step, people perceive that they're going to just fall into nothingness. Well, that first step is the scariest for people, and some people are up there for hours unable to take it. And so this third area of finding the courage to live your dreams is really when you take that first small step, it becomes quite easy after that.
Okay. And you help people go through these steps, right, with your coaching?
With my coaching, with my writing, with my seminars. Yeah, it's sort of an underlying theme of everything I do.
All right. Now, you have a new seminar series coming right up called Courageous You, which sounds amazing. I was looking at some of the topics that you're going to be covering. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Absolutely. Yeah, so the Courageous You, and it's you like university or you like you. So these are seminars that, the first series that, this will be all the teaching that I do will be within the framework of Courageous You. But one of the things that I'm getting feedback on right away is I have clients all over the world, and obviously not everybody can travel to Northern California where I'm teaching. And so I heard a lot of feedback about, well, can you start off by doing stuff online or via teleseminars that we can tap into by phone or by Skype? And I thought, oh, absolutely. And, hey, then I could be teaching in my pajamas, even better. So the online seminars that I'm just launching are all around the theme of making and managing change. It's called Big Shell or Bust because, for me, I get in my mind the image of a hermit crab. Anyone who's in transition, you really need to shake off that small shell that's pushing on your abdomen and you can hardly breathe. But then there's a bigger shell out there. But the trick is, once you shake off the little shell and you're hanging out all naked and vulnerable on the sand, crawling toward the bigger shell, how do you cope with that? How can you effectively manage transition and make it to the bigger, better life? So the whole series is geared around that theme. I'm kicking off with some fantastic guests who'll be teaching with me, the band Guster, Stella Resnick, a relationship coach, Bill Walsh, who's a fantastic billionaire business coach, and there'll be a lot of discussions not only on the process itself, but going into depth. If you're particularly in transition with your body and your health, either just due to the natural aging process or maybe a recent injury or illness, you'll probably want to do the seminar called I Want My Body Back.
Okay.
Etc. And we're doing it on everything, relationships, work. It's a great seminar series. I'm really excited, and I've made it really cost affordable because for me it's more important that people get access to the content right now.
Now, if they're not available during the time that you're actually doing it, is it recorded so they can listen to it later?
Oh, absolutely. Yep. Some people will want to call in live, and then you have the opportunity to ask questions of myself and the guests, but all of them are absolutely going to be available immediately afterward. You can just enroll, and then I'll send you the link to where you can download it and listen on your own time.
That is so cool. I really, really like the content that you're covering. But another area that you have in your media that I thought was pretty fun, you say that we need to be as savvy as our dog. Okay? And so when we come back, I want to find out how come our dogs are so savvy. All right? Now, Laurie tells us that we should be as savvy as our dogs. And I've got to find out why our dogs are so savvy. Laurie, tell us why.
Sure. Well, if you notice, animals are able to make quick, clear decisions based on their gut instinct.
Okay, gotcha.
Versus people. We just get completely overwhelmed sometimes. We can't make a decision because we're in analysis paralysis. We're looking at all the pros and cons, or we're worried about, well, how do I feel about this situation? And these are good things when we don't get bogged down. And dogs, on the other hand, have a very clear barometer. When they feel safe, they stick around. If they don't feel safe, they're out of there. And so part of what I teach in this workshop, and when I speak on the topic, is how can we as people learn to quickly access our gut instinct? And I strongly believe that we all really do know deep down what's best for us and what we need. And it's all the other stuff that gets in the way. And I even do some fun exercises with a stopwatch, a coin, and a mirror just to help people get more quickly to what they really feel. So, for example, with the coin, let's say you're deciding, oh, should I stay in this job? I don't really love this job. But then again, the economy is so crappy. I don't really know if I want to leave. Maybe I won't find another one, and you're just stuck. So I'd say, all right, well, flip a coin. Heads, you stay in the job. Tails, you leave.
Oh, wow.
So the person flips the coin, and not that I'm leaving your entire, career to fate, but what's important is how do you feel when you see where the coin landed? So if it lands on heads, stay in the job, and you're going, oh, God.
Okay.
Well, you already know. You probably shouldn't stay in the job. You're cringing inside that was the answer that was given. And similarly with the stopwatch, often when we're under the gun and make a decision right now, I'll say, okay, you're going to break up with this guy or you're going to stay in the relationship. Ready, go. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. What's your answer? And then the person just spits it out. 10 times out of 10, they spit it out. I'm like, wow, okay, when you were pressed under time, you found it from within. What you already knew was what you wanted to do.
Because you don't get all those excuses and all that other stuff that's in the way.
Totally.
Blast right through it. I like that technique, Laurie. That's a really good one.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And so, I also noticed that you are a master wellness practitioner, and you do both body work and energy work. Now, where do you offer these services up in Northern California? Or do you do them around, other places as well?
Yeah, well, so those that are actual hands-on, like the massage and the sports orthoanatomy and the things where I physically have to touch a person in order to deliver them, those I do in Northern California, although I have also traveled. I've worked with folks who were recovering from cancer and other things, and they've actually flown me all over the country to come work with them, so that's possible as well. But also a lot of the work that I do, the energy readings and energy healings and even Reiki, that can be done over the phone, or I even do that via Skype. So some of those techniques, you can be absolutely anywhere.
All right. Can you tell us a little bit more about energy work? A lot of our listeners probably don't even know what that is.
Absolutely. And I have to say, the East Coast side of me, when I first moved out of California, I was like, energy what? Like, something kind of strange and woo-woo and, what is this, like quantum physics or PG&E, the electric company? What do you mean energy work? What is this? And the best way I can describe energy and then energy work is that we are all actually energy bodies, and the world is connected energetically, and scientifically we've proven that. And in a down-to-earth way to describe it, you can tell that you can sense other people's energy even just by being around them. So let's say, for example, you're in an office and the secretary comes in really angry about something that happened at home. And this happened to me a couple of years ago. She was just really pissed off that she was trying not to show it. But she's not saying anything to anyone. She just sits down at her computer, and she's not even moving. But everyone in that office could just feel her anger energy bouncing off of her. We could read her energy. Or similarly, if you've ever seen a couple in love, we all go, oh, they're so cute. And they're not even talking to us. They might be across the room. But again, we can see and feel that energy that they're giving off. And so energy work is really all about tapping in and helping other people's energetic beings. And so another way to think about it is if you've ever had someone just come and unload on you, like complain and complain and complain, and then they walk away feeling better. But you're just left there like a dump truck with just
I hate that.
You feel like poo. You're like, oh my God, I feel exhausted. I feel terrible. Well, that's because they just literally dirtied up your energy space.
Mm-hmm.
They dumped their energy into your energy space. And so energy healing and energy readings and Reiki, it cleans out that energy space, whether it's your own energy that's stuck, whether it's other people's energy that got stuck in there. And the fun thing is that I discovered as I learned to be a master energy worker, you don't have to be a psychic or a mother with a mother's intuition. Like, we all have the ability to intuitively sense and pick up on other people's energy, and therefore to clean out our own energy and to help other people improve their energy. It's just like going to the gym. You just have to learn to develop that sixth sense like you develop your muscles.
I love that explanation. It makes it so everybody can understand it. And I also see that you taught quantum physics at Harvard University. Is that correct?
I did.
Man, so you must know what you're talking about. Good for you. So another area that I was really interested in that you deal with, you talk about saying that America has a desperate need for shared spirituality. And right now we're kind of in what you call tribalism. And so can you explain a little bit more about that and what attitude shifters we need in order to bring us more towards this shared spirituality?
Absolutely. We are all still so dang tribal. I mean, honestly, I sometimes wonder, have we come that far from caveman times? I mean, seriously, it's my political group versus yours. It's my religion versus yours. It's my sports team versus yours. Really, I'm fascinated from an anthropological point of view just how tribal we continue to be. And sometimes this is harmless and can be fun, but other times, obviously, it's really damaging.
Right.
So by shared spirituality, I mean most generally spirituality defined as we're all searching for the meaning of life and what our meaning is for our own lives. And if we focused more on our similarities and more on the underlying questions we're all seeking rather than the differences between the polarized groups, I think there'd be a lot more tolerance and understanding.
Well, I definitely agree with you. But you know what? We are just about out of time, and so I want to get more information about your website, your book, and I see you have a free monthly Words of Wisdom little area that we can tap into. So go, girl.
Absolutely. Well, the best thing people can do is to sign up for my email list on my website. You can go to GetRealGuru, that's GetRealGuru.com, or LaurieGardner.com, either way, LaurieGardner.com. Sign up for my email list, and each month I will send you either a video or a written column that I call Words of Wisdom, and that is a life lesson that is both funny and profound. And in addition, I'll keep you posted. My book, The Road to Shine, is currently being shopped around by a fantastic book agent who is the same agent as the XX for Dummies series and Eckhart Tolle's book agent. So news of that will be coming out soon, as well as Courageous You.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us, Laurie. You are a get-go woman, and I just am so excited about your work.
Well, thank you so much, Sharky. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks for joining us today on Pep Talk, and also to my fabulous guest, Laurie Gardner, the Get Real Guru. Check out their new programs, the Courageous You Seminar Series at LaurieGardner.com. Until next time, I'm Sharky Zartman, and here's to your inner shark.